Hello, my name is Dr. Alan Apple, and I've been asked to meet with you today to help you with the problems that you have brought to us. My first question, though, is how do you feel about coming here to see me today?
I guess in a way I was looking forward to it because um, I've been dealing with this stuff on my own for a while and trying my best, but not really getting anywhere, I guess. So I was looking forward to it for sure, but I'm also obviously a little bit nervous because this is new for me.
And what sort of things are you nervous about?
Um, I guess it's hard to say. I guess just even being face to face as much as we can be right now, being face to face, with someone and just saying things out loud is not something I've done in a long time. And I don't really know. I don't really know you, so I don't know how you're going to react to some of the things that I say. So
So you're concerned that some things you might say will affect me in some way, or I might respond in a way that's difficult for you.
I guess, yeah, I don't want to. I know a lot has happened to me, and I guess I worry about, I'm sure you've seen a lot and done a lot. I'm sure you're really experienced, but I worry that I might scare someone with some of the things that I would say.
So you're worried that you may frighten me in some way, or that I might judge you in some way.
Yeah.
Okay, so what I'm starting off with here is I'm really exploring your reaction, which is the kind of therapy that we'll be doing together, is looking not only at problems that you're talking about, but how it affects the way you feel about yourself and how it affects your perception of me. And this is really essential to this type of psychotherapy, which, as I mentioned previously before the interview, is called short-term dynamic psychotherapy. And it focuses on your problems, but also on how the problems manifest in your relationships, and that includes the relationship with the therapist. So I understand already then these fears of how you might be seen or perceived by me. So let's move on to what the actual problems are that bring you here.
Okay. I guess it's interesting that the therapy is about relationships because I think that that's the thing that I'm struggling with most in my life. I think my relationships with my family have always been quite difficult. And I always thought that I was pretty good at navigating them, I guess. But now that I'm an adult and I feel like I should have some level of separation from that and some kind of sense of self and individuation from them, I guess, like I still feel like those relationships affect me and, they bring a lot to my emotional world that I'd like to keep out. And so I don't know, yeah, I don't quite know how to separate from that. And at the same time, I have my husband who's lovely and we've been together for about 12 years now and married for about 5 years. And he's wonderful in so many ways. And I also, I don't think he quite understands where I'm coming from sometimes. And it's hard to talk about. You talk about it with a friend and, then it's kind of, they see the relationship differently. And it's hard to find people to talk about it with it can still, see me in that relationship, I guess.
And it seems like it's difficult for you to talk about it now. And that's, of course, you just met me, and it's hard to trust somebody with these personal things. But I wonder if you could give me some examples of the difficulties that you have in your relationships with your family.
Well, you know, we will get together for a holiday like Christmas or something like that. And I have a pretty big family. I have, two younger brothers, and I have a sister, and I had another sibling who unfortunately died when I was young. I think, which makes things even more complicated a little bit.
Yeah.
My dad is no longer alive, and he was kind of the parent that I guess had a closer relationship with. And my mom, um, my mom needs to be in control of everything typically. So, and if we don't do things her way, if we don't toe the line, kind of, and if we don't, if we don't, meet her needs, no matter how, big or small they are, then it kind of has this ripple effect through the whole family of causing really negative things to happen. I don't know if that sounds really vague, but
So I just wanted to just ask you how these dynamics affect you, affect your mood or your anxiety. What's the impact of these things at the present time?
I think I feel really lonely.
Mm.
And I think that loneliness is like only compounded by the fact that obviously there's a pandemic right now, and it's a lonelier time. But I think I feel very alone because I'm often in a role where I'm really supporting my siblings. I'm doing the best to support my mom, who is also doing the best that she can, but I feel like I don't really have anyone to support me and my family, and it makes me feel pretty sad.
So there's a lot of sadness there, a lot of pain.
Yeah.
Is that something that is with you all the time?
I think when I'm at work, I'm distracted because I'm helping other people, and that brings focus away from it. But I think, the second I'm alone, it just kind of comes flooding back.
So those are things we'll focus on and explore more. But I want to, before we move on, I want to stay with the death of your father. When did your father die?
He died when I was 22.
How many years ago was that?
I guess 14 years ago.
Okay. And tell me about him.
He wasn't around a whole lot when I was a young kid. My mom was kind of the primary parent, but he was really the fun parent. He was the parent, not fun in the sense of, not being a parent. He's still very much a parent. But he had this really human side, and we would, like, we'd go out to eat, and there would be like, an angry kind of feeling in the room, but he and I would be sitting at the end of the table, like passing a napkin back and forth and like writing a poem together on the napkin.
I can see you smile when you talk about him. Tell me about the smile. What are you feeling right now?
I just miss him.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah. So a little sadness and missing him.
Yeah.
So tell me what's coming up right now. What feelings are coming up?
I just like I have like I have a lot of happy memories, but I feel like not enough.
Yeah.
Not enough.
So it's a huge loss for you.
Yeah. I wonder I wonder, if he were here like now, what I wonder whether my life would be a little bit different. I was only just starting to have that like adult relationship with him when he died, and he died suddenly.
Mhm.
He died of a heart attack. Um, and yeah, I just wonder now, like, could I talk to him? My husband, his name is Tom. Could I talk to him about Tom? Like, what would he say? Like, how would he see things? Because he really saw me, and it's not a lot of people really see me.
Tell me more.
People see people see what they want to see. You're in school and your teachers see what is convenient for them, right? Like they see you as someone who can achieve or not achieve, someone who is disruptive or not disruptive. They don't see you as someone who's like funny or kind, or like they don't see your particular interests unless you are someone that really makes them known. And my dad really saw me and saw like what I was passionate about, and like saw just was able to appreciate my my way of relating and my way of seeing the world. And I don't know, I think he taught me a lot about how to see the world. um, and I just think that a lot of people go through life and they do, and they don't see, and so a lot of people don't see me.
So that's important. So the way people see you, your sense of how others see you comes up here. What was your dad like? How would you describe him in terms of description or key points about his personality and the way he interacted with you?
He was very silly. um he would walk around the house late at night singing to me when I was really little. He thought he was a very good singer. He would sing at the top of his lungs. He was so silly. um and would just he had this way about him that he would just kind of run around run around the house and just do fun things. And you know even as I got older, when I was really little, he would piggyback me up the stairs. And I would run away from him and be like, no, you're gonna hurt yourself. And he would like come after me and be like, nope, it's your turn for a piggyback. And he'd like run up the stairs, piggybacking me up, even though he's probably gonna hurt his back. Scaring my mom.
So a lot of fun and pleasant memories and joy with
Yeah,
him.
yeah.
And what about your mom in those days when you were younger? What was she like? How did she interact?
My mom was more, she was around the house more. She also worked, but she was more present, but she didn't really like, I would ask her to play with me when I was little, and she would never, always say she's busy.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd find her, like watching TV in her room. And she, in a lot of ways, like knew us better, like knew what was happening in school, and it signed us up for activities and stuff like that when she could, and went to parent teacher interviews, and she knew us better, and she made sure we were safe, but she didn't play with us.
Was she affectionate, hugging, kissing?
At times, yeah.
At times. What about the other times?
If I remember, like if I was really sick, like she would bring me into bed and into her bed, and she would take care of me. But if I wasn't sick or there was nothing wrong, like, I don't know, she was pretty withdrawn, or she was angry. There was always a fight about something.
So she was more distant or detached, not as much fun as your dad.
Not as much fun.
Okay, we're coming towards the end of our session, so I'll just summarize. So you've described the loss of your father being a major issue, the fact that he was the one that really saw you for who you were, whereas other people haven't been able to do that. We haven't explored the issue of how your husband perceives you and your interactions with your husband, or the other loss, the loss of the death of a brother. So there's a lot of other areas to explore that I'm sure have had a huge impact on how you perceive yourself and your self-image. And also, these losses that you've experienced have led to some feelings of sadness and isolation. So in the coming sessions, we'll explore that more and help you process the feelings and the associated memories. Before we stop, I'd just like to ask, how did you feel about this interview?
Well, I feel a little bit embarrassed. I feel a little surprised that, and I don't know you very well, obviously. I was crying, and you seemed to, not obviously be super flustered by that, but I don't know. I feel like it's a lot.
Did you feel judged or anything like that?
I don't think so. I don't know. I don't know what you're thinking.
Okay, well, I'll be asking you that in most of the sessions, how you react to what I'm saying or how you react to things that come up in the session. So thank you, Samantha, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye for now.
Thanks so much.